Hey, what's up, everybody? Jay Pounds here, and I'm finally back with another rebuild video. We've had a lot going on with the draft, free agency, all sorts of things, just enough to make your head spin. And kind of here at the end of this month, we'll get a little bit of a break before OTAs and all that stuff starts. May 28th is the rookie draft. Everybody will be drafting at the same time. Slow draft, gonna be a lot of fun. Definitely excited about it. I hope you guys are too. We have startup drafts starting, I believe, this weekend. If you guys got some friends that are possibly interested, help them out, get them in here. Let's just help this platform grow. It's a lot of fun. I hope you guys are having as much fun on here as I am. I know this is just a lot different than normal fantasy, and that's kind of what I want to talk about today. We're going to talk about the 10 rookies that will finish with the best dynasty dollars per point. And basically what that is how much every point cost you for that player. If their salary was $1 and they scored you 1 point, well, guess what? It cost you $1 for that point. So basically that's how this gets broke down. Now this is going to be a little more geared towards the rebuilding owner that is getting ready to compete, maybe not this year, but next year. Or, I guess it could really fall for any rebuilding owner because you can always trade any of these players at any time as long as they're doing well. You're always going to get value for them if they're playing well. So always remember that. But again, this is more of like the value contracts, which player is going to have the best value for your roster at the end of this season. And for rebuilding owners, you kind of want to just keep your options open. So sometimes, if you're a year or two away and you got all these players that are getting ready to go into their second contract and you have no idea how much space you're going to need, sometimes maybe you want to take one of these higher up guys instead of the surefire thing. As you'll see as we get into the players, you'll see what I mean with that. I'm going to break this down into the top 5 quarterbacks, top 5 position players. We kind of have the big 5 at quarterback, so I figured why not make it a little bit more interesting than trying to figure out the value with these quarterbacks because they're a little more expensive, so their value is going to be a little bit higher, or their DD PT is going to be a little bit higher. At number 1 in the quarterback, we have Justin Fields, 4 years, $4.7 million. I'm a big time Ohio State fan, so this might be a little biased here. This really, really depends on if he gets the starting job or not. If he doesn't start for 2 or 3 weeks, it'll be Trevor Lawrence's job to win more than likely. But that being said, I think they're just going to get on the practice field, and talent always shows out. And I don't think Andy Dalton's anywhere near as talented as Justin Fields. So as soon as they start practicing and the coaching staff really gets to lay some eyes on Justin Fields, I feel like it's going to be a no-brainer come week 1, week 2 that Justin Fields is starting, that he's just clearly better than Andy Dalton. And it's really going to come down to how fast he can pick up the playbook. And I think they'll design a lot around him. So I really don't see much of an issue with him getting on the field here, if I'm being completely honest. And that might be my Ohio State bias showing through a little bit. You never know. It's hard telling in the NFL, but I do know they traded up to get the kid. It's not all that likely that they're going to wait around for him. We did see it with Patrick Mahomes, but they had a Alex Smith in there who just took him to the playoffs the year before. Andy Dalton's not that guy anymore. I don't know if he ever was that guy. He just had a great team around him. But that being said, I got Justin Fields here. I feel like he's just going to be a tremendous value with this $4 million salary. It's unbelievable, $4 million, and he was neck and neck with Trevor Lawrence all the way up until draft. We started the draft process, and then his stock took a crap for some reason, and they didn't even play any games. I don't understand it. But it is what it is. He's in Chicago. They're not a bad football team. They're not a great football team, but I kind of feel they're a quarterback away. It's great that they kept Allen Robinson. And like I said, if we see Fields get on the field, there's really no competing with his value with that contract. Number 2, we have Trevor Lawrence. 4 years, $9.1 million. Here, if somebody like Mac Jones were to get on the field, or even Davis Mills were to get on the field, they could easily, overtake him here just on sheer volume because of the numbers. But Trevor Lawrence is going to start from day one. He's going to get you a lot of fantasy points. They're going to throw the ball. They're going to run the ball with them. It's a surefire thing. You're going to get something out of Trevor Lawrence this year, and you're going to get 17 games. Man, that sounds weird to say, don't it? But it is awesome to say at the same time. We get a full extra game of football this year, and I'm sure the players hate it. I'm sure the game is rough on their bodies. We all know it is rough on their bodies and all that. So I'm sure they're not fans of it. But as a football fan, I love to see it. But back to Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars did a great job at building around him. They got his college teammate in Travis Etienne there. They brought Marvin Jones in. They got Laviska Shenault. They got DJ Chark, who was, remember last year going into it, everybody was talking about DJ Chark taking this next step and being a true number one guy, and we just didn't see it. He was injured, and who knows how healthy he was after that. But we just didn't see it last year. So I really think some people are sleeping on DJ Chark this year. I was never extremely high on him, but I was hearing a lot of AJ Green comparisons and things like that. So I really think this is a make it or break it year for DJ Chark, and I think he's going to show up. They also still have James Robinson. It's hard telling what they're going to do there. I don't think they invest a first-round draft pick in Travis Etienne for him to be a third down back like Urban Meyer said, but you never know, and it's the NFL. We'll see. At number 3, we have Zach Wilson, $8.7 million for the Jets. I'm not high on Zach Wilson. He kind of came out of nowhere, and usually I don't run with those prospects much. Trey Lance I am a little bit higher on, and we'll talk about him in a little bit. But with Zach Wilson, they played the easiest schedule BYU's played in years. I don't know. He could be the real deal. I can't sit here and knock him a whole lot because I really haven't done a whole lot of research on him. I'm not going to lie. I just am not that enamored with him for some reason. I will have him on a couple teams here and there, but it's not somebody I'm going to go all out to get. I don't know that anybody in the fantasy community is going to go all out to get him. There are a few people that are high on him, I'm sure. But it just, I don't know. I think the Jets should have took Justin Fields, and again, maybe that's my Ohio State bias showing out. But when they did take Zach Wilson, they did a heck of a job surrounding him with talent. They got, I don't want to butcher his name, so I'm just going to say Tucker from USC, the guard, Michael Carter. They just did a really good job at putting talent around him. And they knew they were going to draft a quarterback, so they went out and got Corey Davis and Keelan Cole, and they still have Jamison Crowder, who I've been hearing he's probably going to get cut, but still, they have made the biggest effort we've ever seen. Maybe not ever, but we have seen in a long, long time for the Jets to actually take a next step forward, and it's kind of refreshing to see, and it's really weird to see that they hire a defensive coach and then do all this offensive stuff, but hopefully it works out for him. I think football's better when the Jets are decent. The Rex Ryan years were a lot of fun. But moving on to number 4, we have Trey Lance, 4 years, $8.5 million. See, told you we'd talk about him here in a little bit. Trey Lance is probably the biggest unknown, at least in terms of high-profile prospects in the draft. He's had the weirdest run-up to the draft, I think, we've ever seen, with playing one game, playing poorly, and then going third overall in the draft. He didn't throw. Well, I can't remember if it was 0 interceptions or 1 in 2019, and then he comes out in 2020. I think it was 0 in 2019. He comes out in 2020, plays one game and throws a pick in that, maybe 2. But it was a very poor showing, and then he just really, really impressed at his pro day, and ends up going number 3. And we've seen a lot of Mac Jones talk there. I think that was all just a smoke screen. I don't think the 49ers wanted the Jets to know that they were enamored with Lance, because obviously their coach just came from San Francisco, and he's going to trust their opinion for the most part, and maybe they'd win a different direction there if they truly knew who San Francisco was going to pick. But as far as that goes, Trey Lance couldn't have landed in a better spot. He's on a roster that's ready to win now. He has Kyle Shanahan as a coach, and we have seen this guy win with just about everybody he's ever coached. Matt Schaub, he turned him into a winner. Kirk Cousins, he turned him into a winner. I think I forgot to put him in my article. Brian Hoyer, I think they took the Browns to the playoffs. Matt Ryan took them to the Super Bowl. RG3 was better than Andrew Luck in their rookie season. It's just Jimmy Garoppolo to the Super Bowl. What he's been able to do with the talent he's been given is very, very impressive. And the fact that he got to handpick his guy finally, I'm just excited to see what happens with this kid. Excuse me. Like I said, just remember the RG3 days and what this potential San Francisco offense can look like is that. They were scary. They were downright scary. And if RG3 didn't get hurt against the Seahawks, they might have ended up going to the Super Bowl. RG3 looked that good, and then he just tried rushing back, and it really ruined his career. So I hope Shanahan works his magic on Lance, because it would be a lot of fun to see Lance with Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle and Trey Sermon now. Again, another Buckeye. Hopefully he succeeds as well. But moving on to the fifth player here, the last quarterback, Mac Jones, 4 years, $3.8 million. This is hugely dependent on Cam Newton. If Cam Newton plays well, Mac Jones is going to be a horrible value because he's not going to play. If Cam Newton gets hurt or struggles and Mac Jones sees the field, he's going to be a decent value depending on what point of the season he gets on the field. The later he gets on, obviously, the worse of a value he is. The earlier he gets on, the better of a value. So that you just want him to score more points to be a better value in terms of dynasty dollars per points, and you can't do that without getting on the field. That being said, is there anybody luckier than Mac Jones? This kid went from Nick Saban to Bill Belichick. Enough said. You just don't get no better than that. You went from the greatest college coach to the greatest NFL coach and didn't even blink an eye. It's impressive and it's lucky, and I'm excited to see where that goes because, I've heard a lot about how intelligent he is, and I'll be interested to see what he can do pairing with Belichick and McDaniels and seeing how they operate. All right, let's move on to the position players. I'm going to try to go through these a little faster because I'm just rambling at points, and you guys are probably getting annoyed and tired of hearing me. No, I'm just kidding, but I will try to speed it up a little bit. That way the video isn't forever. At number one for the position players, none other than Najee Harris. And for number one here, we're going to bring on a quick little video. Just one quick run, just because he's a Steeler. We've got to show the Steelers out. Look at that hurdle. This guy is massive, and he's able to do that. That just speaks volumes to his athleticism to me, and I am very, very excited to see him in a Steelers uniform. Obviously, I as far as team building goes, there's probably better things they could have did, but I'll take it, man. He looks unbelievable, and if they're going to make a run for it, I guess you got to have a running game, and that they did not have it all last year. And now you get the big guy who's just hurdling people like it's easy. It just looked like he was a track star there. But I'm very excited about Harris. He has the clearest workload of any rookie in this class. There's no reason he's not going to get 250 touches. He's going to catch some balls as well, a decent amount actually. I feel like when you looked at Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh, Ben threw him the ball a lot. So I look for Harris to be just the true workhorse, 3-down back. Even behind a bad offensive line, opportunity is everything in fantasy. We hear it all the time, and Najee Harris is about to get plenty of it. Snag him if you can. At number two, Jamar Chase, 4 years, $7.5 million. This is going to be tough for him to finish in second just because he's got a higher salary than a few of these other guys. But I just think the connection with him and Burrow and the amount that Cincinnati passed the ball last year with Burrow only playing, I think, 12 games is phenomenal. And I feel like they might end up throwing the ball 700 times this year unless they really start to use Joe Mixon like they should be. But it just seems like they just want to chuck the ball, and Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are about to show out. I honestly feel like the same with Fields, the second Jamar Chase steps on the field, he is going to be clearly better than Tyler Boyd and Tyler Higgins or T. Higgins. And the familiarity with Joe Burrow is just going to pay off huge. I honestly think he finishes behind Najee Harris in terms of value this season. And if you're a rebuilding owner, go get Jamar Chase. Obviously it's going to depend on team need. I know all that, but you cannot go wrong with him. He is going to be a star for years. For years, I'm planting my flag. It's obviously the easy choice, but I am a huge Jamar Chase truther, and the landing spot couldn't be any better. I would have loved to see him go swell, but that's all right. At number 3, Rashad Bateman, 4 years, $3.1 million. And this is where it got interesting because, you could put the Slim Reaper up here. But Rashad Bateman should be the number one guy in Baltimore. They did sign Sammy Watkins. They got Hollywood Brown, Willie Snead, and Mark Andrews. So targets are going to be limited in a run-heavy offense there. But I do think he operates as the number one guy pretty much right off the bat, and that'll get him enough in terms of value to hold off some of the guys below him. Mainly Devonta Smith. It's such a toss-up between these two in terms of what their value is going to be at the end of the year. But I got to go with the $2 million in savings with Bateman, and I think Lamar probably takes a step forward in passing this year, and they throw the ball just a little bit more and run a little less with Lamar and try to keep him healthy for the long term. At number 4, we have Devonta Smith, 4 years, $5 million. I really think a lot of Devonta Smith this season is going to depend on the development of Jalen Hurts. He looked good last year in one game against the Saints, and then the other 2 games he looked human. So really, it depends on what this new coaching staff is able to do with him and how well he responds to that. We've seen him move from Alabama to Oklahoma, and he responded beautifully. And it's possible that happens again. I'm pretty high on Jalen Hurts. I don't want to say I'm extremely high on him, but I think he's going to be a decent NFL player. And I think that bodes well for Devonta Smith. I don't think it gets him quite enough to get past Bateman, but I do think it's enough to be in the 4 spot and ahead of the guy below him and the rest of the rookies that were drafted. I know these seem like the easy picks here, but sometimes the easy way is the right way. And I really feel like this is going to play out very close to this. I do think Devonta Smith could bump up past Bateman, but it really just, like I said, it just depends on each of their quarterbacks and how well they take the next step forward and how much of a target hog they are, I guess. I think Devonta Smith is easily walking into the number 1 role no matter what. From day one, they traded up to get him. I do think he sees over 100 targets this year. Bateman, I don't know if he sees that. I'm hoping he does, and I'm counting on him to because of this ranking here. But we'll see at the end of the day. Baltimore loves the run, and it's very possible that they could stay very, very run heavy and kind of go through the run game in the tight end position. At number 5, last but not least, we have Javonte Williams, 4 years, $2.2 million. And Javonte Williams is really the wild card in this situation, because if something were to happen to Melvin Gordon or the suspension happens and he comes back and just doesn't look the same, it's the NFL. Maybe they cut him. You never know. But Javonte Williams has a a relatively easy path to the same type of workload that Najee Harris is getting, but he has Melvin Gordon in his way at the same time. So that's why I put him here at 5 to kind of compensate for the Melvin Gordon being there. Melvin Gordon will be suspended. Denver had a decent run game last year. They utilized both Phillip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon. I don't see any reason they don't do it with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. I can easily see Williams getting probably 10 touches a game, maybe 12 in good weeks. You know, if he's really, really hot, they'll give him 15, maybe 21 week this season when Gordon's suspended. But I really, really like the prospect of Javonte Williams. He had the highest grade ever given out from PFF for a running back, and I just think the sky's the limit for this kid, especially, you know, he's got a decent offensive line in front of him in Denver. If they can get the quarterback situation figured out, they got a ton of pass catchers. There should be plenty of open lanes for Williams to run through, and I'm just really excited about him, especially going into the 2022 season. I just, you know, he could be an RB1 easily in 2022, and I really don't think there's many people that would disagree with that, especially if Denver's going to let Melvin Gordon go. But that's all I got for you guys this week. Like I said, the rookie drafts are May 28th. That everybody's going to be drafting at the same time, open trading. Trade your little hearts out. I know I will be. Make sure you're paying attention to the other guys' articles and following along with those. You know, it's really going to help. I probably should shout him out a little bit more. One of the articles, or a couple of the articles Steve wrote, were just brilliant. He broke down the percentages of who was on the league winners and the chase for the ring and how they drafted and everything like that. And I highly, 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 highly recommend going and checking that out. And then Matt the Jerk and Nate, they put out content every week just like I do. I highly suggest you go check theirs out too. Matt the Jerk's updating you guys on all the contracts. If you want to go check out all these rookie contracts and kind of get the real details about them, check him out. And then Nate's bringing you the rookie prospects. So if you need to learn about these rookies before your rookie draft, I highly suggest you go check his articles out. He is very intelligent. Same with Matt the Jerk. He knows what he's talking about with his contracts. Nate knows what he's talking about with these rookies. So I highly suggest you go and check their content out. We all release them Monday through Friday. You'll see them random days throughout the week. We do have a set schedule. I just don't remember it off the top of my head. But that's all I got for you guys. Good luck on your 2021 chase for the rings and enjoy the rookie drafts. I cannot wait for those. We'll see you guys next week.